So, Chairman, thanks again for coming.
You're welcome.
All right, yeah, man. Right. So we touched on it a little last time. The issue of mentorship. You've provided a bit of mentorship / advice for Deputy Chairman Paul Simpson. I imagine you're proud to see your principles being put into practice.
Yes.
So we went down to Trident in Portland, right? Very nice, by the way.
Thank you.
The Trident Villas. We wanted to find out from you just what's the history of that acquisition and what was the value proposition that you saw?
So firstly, I'm from Port Antonio. Yeah. Port Antonio was the cradle of tourism for the Caribbean.
Yes.
Not just Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a function of the banana industry. Right? So Port Antonio has a storied history. Most people don't realize that in 1902,
yes,
Port Antonio had a hotel, the Titchfield Hotel, which had 400 rooms in 1902.
Okay.
That's 117 years ago.
Yes.
Not very many cities in the world had a 400-room hotel. We had it in Port Antonio, the Titchfield Hotel. Port Antonio was the mecca for the most wealthy people in Europe and America. They would come and spend their winters there, not just a 5 days or a 7-day jaunt at an all-inclusive. They'd come and buy their villa there. Frenchman's Cove was there. It was the most expensive hotel in the world.
In the world?
In the world. In 1962, the cost was £1,000 for a week.
In Portland, Jamaica?
Port Antonio, right?
Wow.
All of these wealthy people went to Port Antonio is because of its beauty. You go to Port Antonio, there are very few places on earth that will be as beautiful as Port Antonio naturally. So the beauty has not changed, right? So what I saw in Port Antonio was the potential to resurrect, to grow on that beauty, right? And resurrect the tourist industry, but in a different echelon. We don't want the all-inclusive there. So I therefore needed to buy a hotel, a small hotel, one that I could manage because
13 villas?
13 villas, one that I could manage, and I could make so exquisite that if the President of the United States came, he or she would not feel out of place there, right? We don't have too many places in Jamaica to facilitate that person. So that was the standard. We also wanted to have a place whereby prospective entrepreneurs who are thinking of investing in Port Antonio can when they come, they don't just see nothing.
Yes.
Right? So it was the investment was to catalyze the growth of Port Antonio. That was the intent.
I see. I mean, and you've had some success there because we were driving through, and when we got to the area that Trident, the Trident Villas are, we were kind of, what just happened?
Yes,
it just switched.
Yes.
It just switched. But before we got down there, we ran into some little children, right? So they were dressed as police officers.
Yes.
Right. It seemed to be some community outreach that the police was doing. So, but I wondered to myself, what do we need to do? From right now,
yes,
to make those children, when they grow up, how can we create economic vibrance to the point where if they have the choice to go anywhere in the world,
yes,
they will select Portland, Jamaica?
Yes.
And what do we need to do right now?
So, Raul, that is a very good question, because what you're actually saying, you're saying the most left behind town in Jamaica,
yes,
especially where it's coming from.
Yes.
How can we resuscitate it?
Yes.
Right? Because if we can resuscitate the most left behind town,
yes,
we can resuscitate any other.
Yes.
So let us deal with the hardest case. Who would want a place where that is out of the way, low crime, beautiful, etc.? Well, in the past, Jamaica, we would have students coming from Central America, to learn English,
Okay.
right? In the past, because the English is the international language. Wealthy people from those countries, they can send their children to Boston, etc. But how about the less wealthy? They too would like to have their children be internationalized.
Yes.
So therefore, there's an opportunity for us to take advantage of the advantages of Port Antonio and build an educational community. So getting back to that 7-year-old, that's what we have to do. It's for us as entrepreneurs. It's for us as people who are rainmakers. We spark things. We get things done to really have the vision and then say, now, how do we do it? And as Barita
Yes.
should take this on.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So on those big ideas, right? We both share regard for Warren Buffett.
Yes.
Right? No, Warren Buffett has an abiding belief in the dynamism of the American economic system.
Yes.
Right, and he's expressed that through stock investments.
Right.
So he's made and held stock investments for the long term.
Yes.
The question is, do you think we could build dynamism in Jamaica that would inspire commitment like that? Like long-term
It is happening.
commitment?
It is happening right now. It's happening right now. Because Jamaica, last night I received an article that it was an article from the Miami Herald on Jamaica. I don't know if you saw that article. It's an article from the Miami Herald lauding the miracle that is happening in Jamaica.
Really?
Yes, that's last night.
Okay.
Bloomberg in 2018, we were the #1 stock market in the world. Over the last 5 years, #1 over the last 5 years. Had you invested $100,000 in 2002 in 100,000 US, invested it in the Standard & Poor 500 index, it would be worth today 322,000. Same 100,000 invested in US dollars in NCB in 2002 would be worth, you know how much, Raul?
Tell me.
2.2 million.
Whoa.
2.2 million,
Okay.
right? NCB is 30% of the market cap of the Jamaican Stock Exchange.
Yes.
Right? So NCB was the reason why our track record in the last 5 years was the best in the world, because we have 30% weighting.
I'm sure you got a little help from the best performer.
Yes. I mentioned that. Yes, sir. Okay. So the Barita.
Yes.
Right. Over the last 3 years, 1,110%
There you go.
appreciation from $3.75 to $45. Fantastic. Unbelievable, right? We have the most developed stock exchange in the Caribbean. In fact, if you look at stock exchanges in the region, Latin America, Central America, and the Caribbean, probably Jamaica is one of the most liquid and developed.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Nothing compares in the Caribbean. Nothing.
Okay, well, we know
Right?
that.
We know that.
You surprised me, you know. You surprised me one day. I was
With
listening.
push-ups.
Yeah, I'm gonna see you in the gym. You know. We'll see. He said,
Last time you challenged me. What happened?
We went one-on-one, you know. Listen, both cameras, Mr. Leachin won the push-up competition. Yes, right? And it was very impressive, sir. Right? You're an inspiration.
Were you never expected?
Well, no, no. Honestly, I didn't expect 68.
A 68-year-old guy lash you? How old are you?
You know,
Come on, Raul.
you know.
Standards, Raul.
All right.
Standards, expectations.
You tried to tempt me to train to come back, you know. Because you know, if I train, it's a problem.
What? What's the problem?
No, if I train for it, you can't beat me.
Well, the track records, as already spoken. Right? So you cannot say whatever you want to say. Show me. Don't tell me. Show me.
All right, Mike. I'll be ready for you next time.
Okay, Raul.
All right. Mike, thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Bless you.
Thank you.